as you know, I've been good, right, Matt? I haven't judged everything on preseason football this year. I've been better, trying to separate it. Yeah, so that's
you're trying. Yeah, you're making an effort. It's good.
And I just watch too much TV too in between everything. So here we go. Oh my God, I don't know what to say. Please, let's just let Dak Prescott's contract talk stop. Why would you ever think that Jerry Jones is going to sign him with a year to go on his contract? He wants to see what happens this year, how Dak plays, where's the team at. It's a huge decision because it's going to be huge money and everything. So, but, Jerry, you got to do it, Jerry. Shut the hell up. Let's move on to something else besides Dak's contract. That's number one. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, the main thing is, right, and we got to keep this in mind for everyone that has worked in that studio world of sports, and you know this better than anyone. There are certain teams that hit those talking points that they care about, and they want to make sure that they drive those home ad nauseum, and the Cowboys are one of them. Jerry Jones is one of them. Dak Prescott is one of them, and the same shows day in and day out are going to continue to repeat this conversation for their fan bases, right? For America's team. And it just gets old really quickly. And you know why? Because they refuse to actually talk about the game itself. It's all of the other stuff surrounding the game and the drama, and that's why it's unfortunate too. A lot of sports networks have really turned into just like TMZ. They just want to talk about the drama and the gossip, and they don't actually want to talk about the game that's being played and how they can actually win football games and other players other than the quarterback and the head coach and the owner of the team.
Hey, let's gossip about something else then. Okay, that's what I would tell them. There's tons of things out there that people will find very interesting, but to me, it's the easy way out. Dak Prescott's contract. Okay, we're done with that. My other one is this. Oh, my God. Even though the quarterback situation, Russell Wilson's a starter, but damn, nobody's happy. We thought it was going to be Justin. I mean, oh, my God, let it go. I'm not shocked by it. I think all along I've kind of thought this is what they thought they would do, hand it to Russell first. And, we're going to talk a lot of things to say about that. But just they bring it up, every day. Do you know Justin Field can run? Did you know that, Matt?
I did. Yeah.
He can run. My God, that's an element that's just there and nobody. Oh.
Right.
Okay. Well, talk about other elements about being a quarterback. There's a reason why he's not starting. There's a reason why Chicago moved on and took Caleb Williams. There's got to be other things. So just
there's a deeper thing to this too, and that is a lot of the people that are in the media and sports media can't let it go that they may have been wrong about Justin Fields. And that's okay. But this is part of it. They thought that he was going to be the next great quarterback in Chicago. It didn't pan out that way. And a lot of people in media, again, because it's easy clickbait, will just not drop it because, hey, they just didn't know what they were talking about in a lot of cases.
Hey, listen. I'm wrong all the time. I actually like talking about what I'm wrong about.
I hear you. They don't.
It's just get over it.
Yeah.
Nobody can predict all these things we talk about. Oh, this team's going to the Super Bowl. I think this team's going to fall off this year. Well, do we ever revisit any of those things? Of course not. But, a couple of things. Let's talk about this quarterback situation in Pittsburgh.
Let's do it.
Okay. Why do you think give me a real quick thought. Why is it Russell Wilson, not Justin Fields?
Russell's just the safer choice at this moment. And I think that this football team, let's face it, it doesn't matter who the quarterback is. This football team right now at the moment is going to struggle to score a lot of points each and every game, right? So the key is can you win ugly, tough matchups by just controlling the football and managing the game? Who gives you the best opportunity to do that? It's really simple. It's Russell Wilson. Justin Fields, does he have the big play splash, ability? Absolutely he does. But he has yet to show us that he can consistently just manage football games week in and week out. Russell Wilson, we at least have enough of a resume to go with him, Super Bowl champion, to at least give us a little bit of hope, especially early on in the season, to figure out what our team is and how we'll play and how we'll get victories to ultimately make a playoff run. And that's why they're going with Russell Wilson.
Okay, yes. And I'll say this too. They both take a lot of sacks, a lot. And what usually, I don't know, I need to probably look it up. Maybe this analytics of that I would like to hear it. When you get sacked in a drive, how many times does that end the drive? In other words, you can't overcome it and get a first down. So sacks, instead of neither one of these guys, these quarterbacks are adept at throwing the football away when it's not there.
Yeah.
But here's my last take about this thing, and I hope I don't talk about this until the first game is over again.
Yeah.
But we are going to see, I would think, with Russell Wilson, a different offense with the Pittsburgh Steelers in this opening game, because Arthur Smith, I know he's got more in the bag than what we saw this preseason.
I hope he does. Yeah.
Well, he does. And so we'll see that. And let's don't forget, you talked about the scoring and all that. Steelers are not going to score a high number, because even now, you look at their defense, man, it has a chance to be pretty good. So I kind of see the same thing again. Protect the football. Let's run it and let our defense. It's almost like they say our defense is the star. It's not our offense.
Right.
And that might be right. You know, they got some tremendous players there. Getting Patrick Queen during the offseason, oh my gosh. He was out of his mind in the championship game against Kansas City. If he plays like that, I don't know how he can make it through a year, because it was incredible how vicious and physical he was. But we'll get to see it all put together.
Yeah.
And see what it looks like. And Russell Smith, like you said, Russell Wilson. Yeah, but sometimes it wouldn't be bad to change the name. But okay. We'll see how he orchestrates the game, how he manages it, and can he avoid some of the things we always talk about. So that's it. We're done with that.
And really, it's one of the toughest divisions in football. And it's just really, it's going to be a bloodbath, I think, for everyone in the AFC North. So again, Russell gives you that opportunity to be successful sooner rather than later. And like you mentioned in our past podcast as well, if Justin is your quarterback of the future, why would you start that timeline? If you're planning on making Justin your quarterback of the future, why would you start that timeline before it's ready for it to start?
Good point.
So don't start it. If he's not ready, don't do it, because as soon as it starts, that's where the criticism and the critique and all the second guessing comes into play. Let Russell do his thing. Let Russ cook. And then you'll find moments to slowly get Justin Fields involved in this offense in one way or another.
Okay, let's get into this real quick.
Let's do it.
Yes. It's about the Tennessee quarterbacks.
Yep.
And Brian Callahan going down there as a head coach now.
Yeah.
Okay, so that, and what have we seen? You do it because you kind of brought this up to me the other day, and that's why I said I'm going to bring this up, because I think it's a great topic. What did you see from Will Levis in preseason?
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't get over just how much he improved in one offseason. I mean, this is a guy that I feel like was kind of the butt of end of a lot of jokes, right? Of just like, oh, well, hey, a lot of people misevaluated this guy and didn't really understand just, what he was or what he was capable of and all of that. And I think what we're seeing is just the impact of an offensive-minded guy who has coached a lot of quarterbacks, who has been through it, has seen a lot, right? His impact on a young quarterback and really grooming him in one offseason, not even one full offseason. And I feel like Malik Willis was in more command of the offense than he's ever been, which is weird because it hasn't even been a whole year, right? Mm-hmm. He looked like he knew where he was going with the football way more decisively than he ever has. And not only that, but just his natural play, we saw early on in his career in preseason, it was like, oh, if one's not there, let's just take off and run. The Justin Fields mentality. And I think he did a great job of like going through his reads and his progressions and, playing the position of quarterback to a level that he had never displayed before. And I think all of that just goes to the Brian Callahan effect and having a great offensive-minded person in a quarterback room leading the way.
I would think Will Levis, Mason Rudolph, Malik Willis, all three, as they got going during the offseason, they're seeing the offense, they're doing it, and, executing in practice, are going, man, this is a lot easier than what we used to do.
Oh, definitely.
Just easy to make quicker decisions. They got it there for you. They teach you to stand in the pocket, read it out. Then if you have to, you move. If you see an open hole, you take off, all that. And you're right about Malik Willis, Will Levis too, and also Mason Rudolph. He played well. I was surprised that they let Malik Willis go to Green Bay. I think there's some other underlining things why. He might be good friends with Jordan Love. It could be many things. Just that maybe he was unhappy that he might not be the backup quarterback. Now he's going to be the backup quarterback in Green Bay. And I'll say this from Malik Willis.
Yeah.
This Green Bay offense fits you to the T.
Mm-hmm.
It couldn't be better for you to be a pro quarterback in this system. It's play action, deep drops, deep routes, good protection, easy to move around when you take those deep drops and stuff.
Right.
And that's what Jordan Love did. And it was a really good move by the Green Bay Packers to get him.
Well, it's great. It's a great sign again, too, of just the power of great coaching, too, especially on the offensive side of the football.
Yes.
Because here is Malik Willis. He was on, the island of misfit toys and never to be thought of as a weapon again, right, for an offense, right, to take advantage of. Brian Callahan comes in. He cleans up his game. He really reinvigorates, right, everyone in the league as far as, this kid's got talent, this kid's young, this kid has ability. And now look, he's able to trade him off as an asset, whereas before he was not an asset for this football team, that he was more of like an anchor to remind them of past failures. And again, it's just a great display of how good coaching and how important it is, because Vrabel and them, hey, he's good on the defense side of the football. But again, it shows you that sometimes when you are super hyper focused on the defensive side of the football, you really are hamstringing the other side. And that's where our discussion we had in private was, the days of, letting this offensive coordinator walk out the door to be a head coach. I mean, it might be time where it's like head coach is getting paid $5 million, offensive coordinator is getting paid $4.5 million because we want him to stay in our building, and he helps this organization continue to grow and prosper and develop football players. And that's what Brian Callahan did this offseason with Malik Willis.
Yeah, I think we saw a little bit this past offseason about some of the coordinators decided to stay in instead of leaving.
Yeah.
You said some really interesting words the other day to me, and you talked about this quarterback situation and Brian Callahan, and you said he softened up the quarterbacks. Just
totally. Well, definitely for Will Levis.
Yes,
definitely.
for Will Levis.
So even like the last preseason game against the Saints, there's Will Levis. Oh, they're playing the starters, all that. He got Will Levis like 3 or 4 easy completions to start. One was like a little fake counter to the weak side, tight end screen to the right. Then another play action pass, another play later, a running back screen to Spears for a gain of 15. So 2 plays right there for explosive gains right to start the preseason. And if you're Will Levis, well, how do you feel if you threw the ball at the line of scrimmage for less than a yard, but gained 30 yards on the play?
Ooh, love those plays.
Yeah, you're feeling pretty confident, right? You really are, right? And actually a fun fact too for you, Malik Nabers got number 1. Ray Flaherty, right? Retired Giants number 1. He brought it back out of retirement so Malik Nabers could wear it. Ray Flaherty is actually coined with the invention of the screen pass, which I thought was pretty interesting. So
didn't know that.
A little history fact there for you. But those are the things that great coaches do. A lot of easy completions for Will Levis. Will Levis isn't so robotic. He's not the Terminator anymore. He looks like he's really relaxed and comfortable. And the Brian Callahan effect is definitely taking place right now in front of our eyes. So I'm excited to see what it looks like during the regular season.
Here we go. Let's get another pet peeve out.
Let's go,
here.
dog. Yeah, go.
All right, this is more than a pet peeve. It's off the charts now. But here we talked about. I know it's such a jerk. Why I'm done with this. We're not going to show anything in preseason. And I said this to you the other day. It doesn't even make sense now. The more I think about it, why?
Wait, what'd you say? You froze there for a second on my end. Go ahead. What'd you say?
Why are we being careful and we're afraid? Don't show anything on the offensive side in preseason. Here's my new take.
So tired of it.
Show it. The other team studies it. So what are we going to do? Well, they think we're going to run that play because we're in this formation, but we got them set up. It's going to be totally different.
Yeah.
And we're going to get a play. That's what everybody does in pro football. And the teams that ran their offenses, Tennessee won. They weren't, there were a few out there that put their quarterbacks, let them get good work. Up in Minnesota, my gosh.
Minnesota, Tennessee, Denver, right? These are
Denver.
3 teams that like they did not take any chances. They put their quarterbacks in really good positions to actually feel a little confident going into the season, which is, I think, an important position to feel confident and build confidence in.
Yeah, but my whole point is just this. Think about it. You always have a play, and here's what we do in this formation all the time.
Yeah.
You do it in preseason, and then you try to put the screws to the defense because you change it up completely in the real game. So I think you showing your offense and doing what we just talked about actually can help you more on the offensive side than the way these coaches think. I disagree.
And listen, if you're running out of tricks in 2 weeks of preseason with your starters and backups, well, then you're not very good at your job in the first place,
Right.
So good luck with an 18-week season. So that's to me, it's just kind of like, I think it's just like an easy out of like, don't want to do too much work now when I have the season to start, but it's just kind of like, you're telling me you can't come up with 3 or 4 easy plays for your quarterback, for your offense to jumpstart them to go that don't take away from, whatever tendencies that you're worried about for the regular season, because if that's the case, then it's just like, maybe your offense isn't as great as you think it is, and that's what I mean. Like Brian Callahan was not afraid, he's running some legit stuff for his quarterbacks. And that's why all 3 of them look good in preseason, and they didn't get overrun, and then multiple formations, shifts, motions, attacking. And it's really important. And one of those things that just, you're right. Sometimes I watch film. It is super frustrating to watch because then we're like, oh, it'd be nice if the quarterback would have played better. It'd be nice if somebody was open. That would be nice, but it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Look at the stat line. Well, whatever. I don't even get into that. All right, here we go.
7 of 18. We wish he would have. It's like, okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Design some plays like you do for the starter.
The offense is boring. Our offensive line is getting crushed because we're just doing the same basic stuff every single time and expecting, the
different
result to change. Yeah.
What do they say? That's stupidity when that happens. Hey,
that's right.
Here we go. I want to talk about this. Again, we talked about it. We have the Los Angeles Chargers. We know Jim Harbaugh is the coach.
Yeah.
We understand all that. One thing I noticed when I looked at them and watched their offensive line has a chance to be one of the best in the NFL this year.
Wow.
So that'll set up for who? The offensive coordinator is this guy that just doesn't get enough credit. And we've talked about him before. We're going to talk about him again today.
That's right.
And that is Greg Roman. And Greg Roman looks at that line and what's he see? He loves it. He sees gold. They're going to run that damn thing. But now they got a difference maker throwing the football on Justin Herbert. So give us we've done this before, but we'll do it one more time. You worked with Greg Roman one preseason up in Buffalo, and you got a taste of what he's about. You saw him, his work habits, who he is. Never, nobody ever talks about him, even though he put together the greatest run offense in history down in Baltimore. Just some thoughts about him and what you expect out in LA.
Let's remind people too. I mean, he only helped Harbaugh, become the coach that he is anyway at Stanford with all the things. I mean, it wasn't like Stanford, no doubt, they did a great job recruiting, but there's no way that you could say that Stanford was more athletic than all these other teams. They had really good offensive line play. They had really good tight ends. They had a good quarterback, and they executed the crap out of every team that they played. And all that was because Greg Roman really brought an NFL-like mentality to college football. And he was playing chess while college football is still playing checkers. And, Greg Roman is an unbelievable hard worker. He really does, approach the game just like, man, he's a soldier, man. He really does. And he approaches it too by just, if we can win in the trenches first, if we dominate there, well, then all the other stuff that just comes, that just works, and for whatever reason, he just continues to get overlooked as one of the great offensive minds in the game right now, presently. He just, I don't know what it is, but what he did with Lamar, what he did with Colin Kaepernick, what he did with Tyrod Taylor, what he did with Andrew Luck in Stanford. I mean, just like, and what he's going to do now with Justin Herbert, You cannot say that this guy is just, he's a good offensive coordinator. No, he's a great offensive coordinator, and really maybe someone that should be considered as a head coach candidate, if he helps Harbaugh again, rebuild this organization.
Well, I think you said it. Don't forget Colin Kaepernick. That was Greg Roman doing that.
Yeah.
At Stanford, I used to watch Stanford play.
Alex Smith, then Colin Kaepernick. So
you're right.
Yeah. So he did it with Alex Smith, different type of skill set. Got it done with him. Got it done with Colin. Tyrod, different skill set than both of those quarterbacks. Got it done with him. Made him a Pro Bowl quarterback. Right. So it's really interesting. Just, this guy, he's got the Midas touch. Everything turns to gold when he's calling plays.
I will say this too. When he was at Stanford, I used to watch those games, and you couldn't do anything but laugh.
Yeah.
Because it looked like they had 6 tight ends out there. Everybody was right here like this, and they would pop runs and passes wide open, big gaping holes or whatever. It was I'm not saying it was hilarious, but it was like I couldn't stop watching. Right. Because I couldn't get over the formations and the plays.
Which was difficult at that time. And it kind of just shows you, too, that he was ahead of his time because college football was doing the exact opposite. College football was, at that time, spreading out, trying to play faster, more plays, open up the field more. And he was like, no, can you defend all of these tight formations? Can you be in the proper gap contained consistently? And, really, I'm excited for Justin Herbert, too, because, this was my big question mark with Kellen Moore and the Philadelphia Eagles this year. Kellen Moore and them, they put up a lot of good stats, but it seems like everywhere he goes, his quarterbacks get rocked. The one thing is about Greg Roman, right? Everywhere that he's been, his quarterbacks are well protected pretty consistently. And that's a big thing for Herbert, who's been, really been playing the game while being hit or on his back more than standing up and driving teams down the field.
Very good. Well said. Like it a lot. The Baltimore, just a quick talk about them. We're not going to talk about them, but the offensive line, how they changed it. They let a lot of guys go.
Right.
And I did write this down. All their offensive linemen are draft picks by them.
Yeah.
So they got homegrown guys, which is really, really interesting. Give me a little thought. We haven't done this at all, really. Have we ever talked about the Jets or the Giants?
Let's do it.
Well, tell me about the Jets. Just look at the Jets, and you see the football team. So many people, really feel optimistic about it. But then there's all the ones that are real fans. Oh, we're so scared. We don't think it's going to work, whatever. Are they going to let us down again? And just give me a quick thought what you think of that football team.
I mean, the Jets, even Christopher, my brother, your son, right? The uglier one of the family. Okay. No, but hey, happy birthday, Christopher. It's his birthday today.
Oh, it's his birthday.
He turned 44. I hope you know that. Maybe
I did.
You should call your son. Yeah.
I got him a gift.
Yeah, did you?
No.
Oh, that's not nice, Phil.
No,
that's
come on. He doesn't need, what the hell are you going to get him?
Yeah, it's true too.
Yeah.
But, for the Jets, best roster I feel like that they have seen in New York. And I don't know, probably since the beginning of the Rex Ryan era, right? Yeah. Where, they were big up front. They were fast. They had a good running attack. And, Mark Sanchez, young quarterback, was able to just kind of manage the game and just, pick his points where he needed to make big throws. And same type of design here again with this football team. Good offensive line, reestablish that offensive line in the offseason.
Yes.
Really good defensive line. So as our friend Greg Nejma alluded to, score points and get after the passer. And this team can do both. And I'm really excited to see just, the product on the field finally. And, hopefully Aaron lasts a little bit longer than 4 plays this time around. And I really expect the Jets to make a deep playoff run for sure this year with the roster that they have.
I think the offense will look different. It'll be a little more wide open. I've said this many times. Aaron Rodgers is a great game manager. And, people always hear that phrase and they think it's negative. No, it's a big time positive with him. And I think what the talent, the offensive line's changed a lot. And I like what they did. I like all the moves on the offensive line.
Right.
But just watching, and I didn't go down to practice this year, but just watching the film clips you see on TV, you can see physically, noticeably, that Aaron Rodgers is a different looking guy. His foot movement and running and everything I see him doing man, that's like what I saw 5 and 6 and 8 years ago.
Right.
I haven't. You can even look at, just look at his legs compared to the way they've looked in the past, the last few years. There's a difference there too. So, and I'm sure he's throwing, from what I talked to people with the Jets, he's not throwing the ball well. He's throwing it like, wow, it's even better than we saw last year.
You did say last year, though, that you thought that they were going to play a little bit more of a conservative style, right, where he would just kind of manage the game, and just let him make the 3 or 4 really big throws a game while just being able to run the football and control it and rely on a great defense. This year, you're expecting what? You think that they're going to be a little bit more high-powered on the offensive side of the football, a little bit more aggressive?
I would hope so. I think they should. Let's see. I got Aaron Rodgers. I got a decent receiving core. It should be a year better.
Yeah.
But I just see him physically with his legs and his arm. I think it's just going to be top notch. I really do.
Right.
And I look at that first game. I can't wait to see him play San Francisco. Great test for the offensive line, but also a really great test to see the scheme and what they do against the San Francisco defense.
Right.
I think the Jets, for Jet fans out there, man, you should be optimistic. You really should. I think this is their chance. I'm not going to say they're going to win the Super Bowl, but I think it's their chance to get to the playoffs and be a very scary team, really on both sides of the football. And we'll see how it unfolds. There's many things that happen, but so far so good for the Jets.
Yeah, and I really just I think it's the best thing that's happened for Breece Hall too, is being able to have Aaron Rodgers at quarterback with this new rebuilt offensive line. Of course, the big question marks just Tyron Smith staying healthy, but you got Elijah Vera Tucker now back at the right guard position where he's most comfortable at. Morgan Moses, so it's like you got size, you got athleticism, you got the physicality aspect of it. So health is a big part, like it is for all teams in the NFL. And, what's really great too is just, man, the Jets are kind of built very similar to San Francisco 49ers now in a lot of ways, where the 2 deep on the defensive line, has just as much capability as the first group, right? So your first starting unit for the Jets right now is Jermaine Johnson. He absolute stud. Quinnen Williams, Javon Kinlaw, Hassan Riddick, that situation. We'll see how that plays out. But then your next group, right? Michael Clemens, Leonard Taylor, Solomon Thomas, Will McDonald, right? Yes. And who really impressed me too in preseason is Braden McGregor, college free agent from Michigan, right? Another dog from that Michigan D-line group. Who played phenomenal. And he literally got he was part of that whole sack lunch of Tommy DeVito in that last preseason game. So that definitely boosted that one up. But it's a big, strong group that has depth in athleticism. And I think that's really going to play into favor of Jeff Ulbrich, the defensive coordinator, and Robert Saleh, who obviously puts his bread and butter on that side of the football.
Yeah, and they got a shutdown corner too. There's a lot there.
Yeah, and then there's Quincy Williams, right, who's one of the best young linebackers in the NFL. So, every level of this defense right now has studs and potential Pro Bowl football players at it, and now it's all about just it coming together and making it happen.
That's what I mean too. You got to look at the team. Where can you find the weak spot? And the first thing, if the offensive line stays healthy, which is a big if for every team in the league.
Oh yeah, right.
If it stays healthy, they're going to have a good year. So good for. Hey, I'll do it real quick, just for the Giants. It comes down to a couple things to me. Can Kayvon Thibodeau and Brian Burns be the guys that we think or they might be?
Right.
If they're that's going to really feed into Dexter Lawrence having a great year. The linebacking core I like a lot, and I think too we need the upfront people. The Giants need the upfront people to be good, to help out their secondary, which could be one of the big question marks of the football team. On the offensive side, I thought they did a great job bringing in 4 new veteran offensive linemen. 3 of them are going to start, and it's going to be interesting. And, of course, we know the last 2 things. Malik Nabers, which I said in one of the broadcasts as I did 2 Giant football games in the preseason, it's got to be a star.
Yeah.
And they're going to give him every chance to be a star.
Right.
I mean, again, all he did in preseason, stand out there, catch some back shoulders, maybe 1 route, maybe 2, but it was they didn't show what they're going to do with him. So I can't wait to see that.
But still, the ability to make some of those catches are things that have not been seen in the Giants offense in a really, really long time. So even if he's not getting the separation that we would have hoped for, his ability to actually make contested catches is something that is super refreshing for this offense, and I'm sure for Daniel Jones too.
Well, it's good and it's refreshing because now they can line up two receivers, and if you play him man-to-man, then you got to look out.
Yeah.
If it's man-to-man, they're going to bump and run, and they're going to stop the run or whatever you think, and you do one-on-one outside, they're going to chuck it down the field, it looks like. That's the one thing I took out of the preseason there.
Yeah.
So enough about the Giants. Let's see. What else do we have?
Slow down, player. Slow down, player. I just want to say just like two things real quick, okay, about the Giants. All right. One, I really do think, though, right, that Brian Burns, it's going to help Kayvon Thibodeau, but really the two people who you were mentioning that is really going to help, it's going to help Bobby Okereke. It's going to help Micah McFadden, right? Two players that I think are very good linebackers that are slightly, maybe underrated, quote unquote, undersized, right, to most people, but with their speed and they're able to, I feel like, identify plays quickly with that stronger front nine. Now we should see more impacts from them. And hopefully with that front seven group, you're right. I think the secondary has been the biggest issue. I'm hoping that with the secondary, it's really more so just the adjustment of going from Wink Martindale's system to Shane Bowen's system.
Big deal.
It's just growing pains. So I hope that's really what it is, because we still think Deonte Banks is a talented football player. We still think that he's capable of doing good things, so we just hope that these are just camp growing pains of adjusting to a new system. All right, now we can move on, Phil, from the Giants. You tell me.
Random things. I think we just talked about this. Probably the last thing I have in all these scratches I made on paper would be we were just talking about Clayton Tune, the fact that he's the backup quarterback in Arizona. Clayton Tune, last year they drafted him out in Arizona, comes from the University of Houston. Yeah. I liked him a lot coming out, thought he was going to be a third, fourth round pick. I didn't even look it up. Where was he drafted? Maybe fourth or fifth, somewhere in there.
I'm not totally sure. Let me check, but yeah, keep going.
But the good thing is, what a difference being in the NFL, practicing the whole year, being in last year's preseason games. Man, he kind of looked like Bo Nix to me in a way. He even has somewhat the same body type, but I thought he made tremendous strides. And I think it came down to this too. That cost Desmond Ridder a job too. Now, I haven't did they try to put Desmond Ridder on the practice squad? I don't know.
He was drafted in the 5th round.
The 5th round.
Yeah.
So man, that's a time you take a chance on.
Yeah, Desmond Ridder is on the practice squad for the moment right now.
Right. Okay. So,
but that's right now we're in that stage where it's just every team. It's just there's revolving doors right now. There's so many moving parts for a lot of football teams right now. I feel like so. It's just we'll see how it plays out.
Well, I just wanted to give Clayton Tune a little shout out in the fact, and I feel bad for Desmond Ridder. He got a chance down in Atlanta last year a couple times, and he just you know what, as I always say, and I hear it a lot now on TV and everywhere. You got to hit the routine throws. When the guy's open, you're protected. You just can't miss them in the NFL. And when I say you can't miss them, you might miss one, but you can't miss 2 and 3 and 4 in a game. And sometimes they're the most important throws because of the situation you're in. So Desmond Ridder's really, he's got to get that under control. The accuracy is number one. Of course, we like it all. We want a guy that can really rip it. We want him to be accurate. We want him to be mobile. So some of these guys have it all.
And for the Arizona Cardinals, right, what are some of your expectations, you would say, for Jonathan Gannon in year 2 with this Cardinals team? You got Marvin Harrison Jr., right? And you expect, right, from all reports that Kyler Murray is going to kind of have that big kind of bounce back year, or just kind of reestablish himself as like a solidified QB1 for this organization. It really is a big year for him. Trey Benson, the young running back out of Florida State, is on this group now with James Conner. So, some upgrade in the talent and the skill group around Kyler Murray. What are your expectations for them for this season?
Yeah, I got to tell the truth. I don't study the Cardinals hard enough to really have a great opinion on it.
Yeah.
But I did watch most of their games, real quick during the year last year, because we never talked about Arizona. I don't know if we ever talked about them one single time the whole year. But I did watch most of the games, and my feeling was I liked the way they were coached.
Right.
I saw them play, and I know this is, a statement that, of course, we expect. I thought they played really hard and were trying to be disciplined in what they were doing. The talent just wasn't there. Maybe they hadn't caught on the system enough in the beginning.
Yeah.
But as the year went on, I was impressed with them, and it wouldn't shock me to see them play somewhere around 500. I know a lot of people say they're going to be awful.
Right.
But, it's going to be – there's going to be a few teams, and I don't even know who they are right now. I haven't looked that way, who we think nothing of. They're going to end up winning 8 or 9 games this year.
Yeah, and, I mean, like for let's just use the Cardinals in Las Vegas, right? The
right.
Raiders as an example. Who is going to trend up out of those two? Who's going to trend down out of these two?
Wow. You tell me.
I'm going to say the Raiders trend down, and I'm going to say that the Cardinals trend up, even though I don't know. I'm going to go with that. I'm going to say the Cardinals trend up. I really do think that they have a little bit better looking of a roster. I have a little bit more belief too in Kyler Murray, obviously just being a little bit more dynamic of a playmaker. And I also think too that Gannon now going into year 2, just a little bit better understanding of like what he's really trying to accomplish with this organization and his team. Whereas I feel like Antonio Pierce, even though he was the interim, still some growing pains, I think, for year 1 as the head guy.
Yeah, be interesting. I would definitely said that. I would think Arizona would trend up, and I would take Vegas to trend down.
Right.
So, but again, I did watch quite a bit of the Raiders in the preseason. I never came away really impressed. But I know they were kind of playing it careful, didn't show a lot. Quarterback battle. I was surprised that they went with Gardner Minshew over Aidan O'Connell. I thought Aidan O'Connell played really, really well in preseason. Good decision maker, gets rid of the football quick. Doesn't take, unwanted sacks. I think he's accurate throwing the ball. I think he throws the ball better in the pros than he did in college. He put some big numbers in college, but that pro football, throwing in rhythm, everything he did in college, they weren't great at Purdue, but it's translated well. So wouldn't shock me to see both quarterbacks be starters this year for the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah.
You got anything else?
Guy? No, I think that was pretty good. 42 minutes of just talking ball with Phil Simms. I think we accomplished a lot.
Yeah, it was good. I like it. I like what we did. Let's see. Well, that's good.
You were ready. You had 2 cups of coffee this morning. You were ready to go.
Really?
Yeah. You were all jacked up. You were ready to go, man.
Oh, I thought you were saying I was jacked up because I worked out today and I was jacked. Oh, okay.
No.
No. Okay.
No.
All right. Great talk. Good things.
Hey, Phil, you the man.
What?
All right. You the man. Congrats.
Oh, and listen, everybody, we got to tell them.
What?
Fran Tarkenton, week 1, Minnesota at the New York Giants. We have Fran Tarkenton on a podcast coming up. I talked to him. He's excited. You've met him. I've met him quite a few times.
I've never met him.
You weren't there with us. Okay.
No, I was there in Florida when this took place, and I told you I was really upset that I did not get a chance to meet him because Fran, I feel like I grew up watching, the Sable NFL films, Fran Tarkenton reversing field like 8 different times and throwing dimes down the field. So I'm excited to do this interview with him.
I mean, listen, he put up numbers with the New York Giants when he played for them, and he always put up numbers for Minnesota up there. And I'm not going to tell the stories, but I'll let him do it next week about the Super Bowls, who he's, some of the things he has about the NFL, which are really funny. And, of course, playing here in New York and just getting ready to play in the Super Bowls. He told me some stories. I'm like, wow, that's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's great.
So it's going to be great. Oh, and hopefully an ex-teammate of mine, Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah.
Lawrence Taylor.
Listen, Big Phil, we're putting it out there right now into the ether. Big Phil, hey, Lawrence, we're looking for you. We want you, man. All right. Don't miss out. All right. You better tune in. Okay. So we're doing that just to kind of add a little pressure to Lawrence and make sure that
somebody tells
he shows up on time.
He's on the golf course right now, so
playing with your clubs and your t-shirt,
we'll get into that too. Okay.
Yeah.
Man. All right. Good stuff, Matt.
Simms Complete. Check us out wherever your podcasts are available on the Believe Network, on Believe's YouTube page, also on Simms Complete YouTube page. Appreciate it. We'll see you next time. See ya.
Bingo.